Oh, yeah. Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you will love this vibe. And everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This can be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else because this is a general read. This is not a personal read, okay? And if you want a personal read, everything, once again, is in the description below. Remember that tarot is a tool. It is not the final rule. So it is a good idea to have an empty cup when you are on Lady Noble and you really want to see what's up. Okay. Hope you all are doing wonderful and feeling great. Okay. The download that I received before we tap into the tarot today, the message is that, there are many people who are, desiring to make some changes in their life, and that is wonderful and fine. Whether this is maybe relocating to another city, state, town, country, whether this is changing your family, your career, starting a project, this could be anything. But Spirit is saying, and the ancestors are saying, to keep in mind what is written for you in the stars will be. And so you cannot run from, um, you know, um, your contractual agreement when you are placed here on planet Earth. We all have individual, unique, divine, agreed contractual fulfillments, that are part of our purpose, part of our walk, and part of our mission. And Spirit is saying to keep in mind, it's okay to make changes in life. It's okay to feel that you need to upgrade, or you need to see new surroundings, or you need to experience a new person, or you like to start a new journey or a new project, a new invention. But Spirit is saying, and the ancestors want you to know, collective, that no matter where you choose to relocate to, whether you want to move to another city or state, maybe because you don't like the changes that are taking place around you, whether it's a new place of employment, whether it's a relationship, that not all things, collective, but some things, once again, not all things, but there are many things, let me not say some, many things that just may be part of your purpose, part of your karmic contract to fulfill. The word karmic does not mean anything negative. People tend to listen to that word and utilize that word, and it's thrown around, bam, 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 in a way where it's consumed to be negative. Now, it can be a lesson, it's for you to learn a lesson. When you talk about karmic experiences, and the lesson to be learned most likely is to make you smarter, wiser, and stronger. It's so that you can gain some form of knowledge, which will turn into wisdom once you apply it to your life as you move forward. But your ancestors and source wants you to keep in mind that every time you become unsatisfied with changes that are happening inside and outside of you, that there is a connection. And, as above, so below, as within, so without. So be mindful. A good example of this is you may be someone who wants to move to another state or city. Maybe you're not satisfied with something that's taking place. Okay, now we're not talking about having a slumlord, or, we're not speaking of that. I'm speaking of a good example would be maybe you just, you don't like the area for whatever reason besides that. Okay. Um, Spirit is saying that there are lessons to learn on this journey for all of us, and it's different and it's on many levels. So keep in mind, just like you may want to change a job or a career, Spirit is saying you have free will to change that job or that career. Or maybe you're in college, you want to change your major. But not all things, but there are a lot of things that people are assuming is in their way or creating some kind of roadblock from them progressing in life. And so this is where coming into self-awareness and doing the work on thyself is very important and vital. As you get to know yourself, what energy is yours, what isn't yours, as you get to surrender, any drama or negative imprint that have been left on your spirit, meaning you're letting go and releasing resentment, you will come to an understanding that not you can't run from lessons that you need to learn. This message is for someone who is assuming that they need to maybe relocate, change their job, or this could be a relationship as well, something with your spouse. There's a lesson to be learned. This doesn't mean you have to stay in that situation. Spirit is saying for you to acknowledge that there just may be a lesson to be learned. Okay. And once you learn that lesson, you're free to move on, and find a way not to repeat that. But so I'm hoping I'm conveying that, but that's the message, the divine wants people to know you're free to make all the changes in the world you want to, but don't make so many every time you are dissatisfied with the changes that are happening around you, because there will come a point in life on your journey where you will have to learn how to go with the flow. You will have to learn how to adapt, not with all things. We're not talking about things that will hurt you, harm you, or hinder you. We're not speaking of that. But Spirit is saying, let them know to keep in mind, sometimes we have to be in the flow of the changes around us, inside and outside. And if it's happening outside of you, then it's associated with something that is going on inside of you, meaning you could need to do some healing work. You could need to do some forgiveness. Now, when I speak of forgiveness, we're not talking about, knocking on a person's door, going to have coffee or tea with them. You can really wholeheartedly, 10 toes down, collective, forgive a person without being in their presence or having any interaction with them. This is something that can be done individually between you and the divine. You can surrender what was done to you and choose to forgive them. And when I say forgive them, that means you are not projecting negative energy towards them. You are not talking about them, gossiping about them among other people. As a matter of fact, you're not even speaking on them, because you have chosen to forgive them, forgive yourself, and you have chosen to surrender whatever negative imprint that experience has left on your life. And the reason it's a good idea to do the forgiveness is because you don't want to self-inflict stagnation on your path. You don't want to end up having problems in different areas, whether it's your health, your wealth, the way you interact with people, business plans, your relationships, your home front. This could be a lot of things, your dreams, your aspirations. You don't want to create stagnation that can be avoided. Okay. So, yeah. So that's the message. Spirit wants you to know you can make all the changes you want to, but when you get to that next job, you may find something else you don't like about that job. When you move to that next neighborhood, you may find something else about that neighborhood or community that you don't like. When you move to that next state, you may find something you don't like there. Life is about duality. It exists in all things, people, places, and things. So Spirit is saying that they're not saying not to make the changes, but keep in mind, there will come a point in your life where you will have to learn how to go with the flow of the changes inside, outside, and around you. Okay? Some of these lessons are written. They're written in the stars for you. They're written in your contract. And that's why it's very important to take your time to do the work of knowing thyself each and every day in your own way. 1 second, collector. That is delicious. But either way, yeah, that's the message there. That is the message. And when I received that download, I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Because we all have been guilty of that, becoming frustrated, upset, unsatisfied, whether this is at work, a co-worker, management, maybe your job description is changing. Maybe they're switching up the policy on you. If you're on a job that has a union, maybe the contract, that they're revamping, you're not satisfied with it. Maybe they upped your union dues. Okay. This could apply to many things, just about anything that you feel that can be changed or altered that would make you feel uncomfortable or impose some discomfort onto your life. Yeah, Spirit is saying there is going to be a point in time where you can't run from every situation. Some of these lessons are meant to be learned. Sometimes it's meant for you to be still and go within the flow. Not in all situations. Okay, not in anything that will hinder or harm you, but sometimes there are situations, lessons for you to learn, and it's written in your contract for you to learn that lesson. Okay, all right, so keep that in mind. Okay, 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. That is so awesome. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the first card we have here is the King of Wands energy here. And so the King of Wands is, desiring to be successful, desiring to be abundant, to be in authority, to be on your throne as you deserve to be. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing with desiring that or working towards that. But Spirit is saying you don't get there by avoiding learning lessons. You don't get there by avoiding clearing up some of the debt that is owed. Okay. And this is law. This is something that applies whether you're someone who maybe you don't believe in karma, maybe you don't believe in energy, maybe you don't believe in tarot. You're just here. Okay. Hey, you. Hey, hey. But either way, there are certain laws and policies that we have to follow. And many of us, we roam and roam about in life feeling as if the blessings aren't in front of us or the prayers aren't being answered. And Spirit is saying they really are. I did a reading like this last week, I believe. They really are. It's right here. It's right here in front of your face. There's just an action that needs to take place that's associated with you receiving this energy of sitting on the throne. There just may be an action that's associated, meaning there's something you need to do, and it doesn't have to be major. So don't think too long. You might think wrong. It could be something as small as changing your perception of people, not being so opinionated, or work on not gossiping, or work on not complaining. It could be something very small, okay? But yes. So Spirit is saying you can't always run. There's going to always be something that does not satisfy you. We all are here in this large world, here on planet Earth. We have our own personal worlds, our own simulations, our own bubbles, however you want to refer to it. And we're all here living and thriving and surviving. And we all have our own way of life. And it's okay of how we move, how we survive, what kind of families we want to be connected to, and how we want to run our family, how we want to run our home front, what kind of jobs. It's different for everyone. But Spirit is saying you cannot run from duality. It's like you're trying to break what's law just to please you. And Spirit is saying it's just not possible, darling. It's just not possible. So there's no need, Spirit is saying enough with running from responsibilities, from things that needs to change. And this is not an overnight thing. And this is not a long list of things. So it's not that deep. It is not that deep. It could all be so simple with my choppy voice, okay? But we rather make it hard. Loving ourselves could be like a battle. So either way, with the Ten of Swords here, it's time to put an end to the shenanigans. Oh, I'm going to go here. I don't like this. I'm going to go here. I don't like this. Well, perhaps that there's a blessing for you on the other end when you choose to be still and be patient, learn to adapt to the changes that are happening inside of you, outside of you, and around you. Be more grateful, more thankful, start complaining less, and perhaps there's a blessing on the outside of you adapting to the changes that are around you. Okay? So much of a blessing that you have options with the Seven of Buckets here. These are options for you in more than one. Now, everything in every bucket may not be for your highest good, but you still have options. You have a choice, and you also have leadership, being in authority. Maybe you're desiring to go into entrepreneurship, open a business, start a brand, or create something, okay? You want to be your own boss. That's fine. That's okay. But don't you think if you want to be an entrepreneur or you want to be successful in any right, especially if you have a career where you're interacting with the public, with people. Everyone is different. I always say we all are individually, uniquely, divinely created. Don't you assume immediately that you have to become accustomed to dealing with a plethora, a variety of different kinds of people, different kinds of personalities, different kinds of energy. Okay? Yes, I love the word energy. I use it a lot. Okay, so we have the Ace of Coins here. This represents opportunity, ambition, and prosperity. This is what you are desiring. But Spirit is saying that you don't need to work harder. You need to work smarter just by simply sometimes, not all the time, learning to be still. You never know what blessing is on the other end of you taking time to learn the lesson. Okay? And so this Ace of Pentacles is speaking of prosperity and opportunity, but you being ambitious towards finding the lesson to be learned. You can simply ask yourself, what is it that I need to learn from this? And the divine will respond to you. Your ancestors will respond to you. You ask and you will receive. So it's not as hard as you think to meet that goal, to make that large purchase, to maybe meet your significant other. Maybe you want to get married, expand your family. It's different for everybody. Maybe you want to buy a new home, a new car. Maybe you want to start a real estate business, maybe you want to do something on social media. Maybe you want to sell things online. Whatever it is, Spirit is saying you don't have to overextend yourself to get there. You need to learn how to adapt to whatever situation you're going in. I'm talking to someone who's going through something that's making them feel uneasy. This could be something on social media. Maybe you're seeing a lot of negative titles, telling you that this is going to happen, that is going to happen. Maybe you are consuming things that are projecting fear and is stirring up a sense of worry and aggravation within you. And so be mindful of what you consume as well, collective. And that will decrease you stressing or worrying so much. Life is happening. Changes are supposed to happen. Nothing stays the same forever. And no, we are not going to always like what we see. We are not going to always like what we hear. And guess what? That's natural. That is natural. And it's okay to say you don't like something. That's natural. But what Spirit does not want you doing is getting into the habit of feeling, oh, I'm just going to run. I don't like it over here. Because that same lesson that you need to learn over there will appear to where you're headed. Watch out now. That's for somebody that really need to know this. This could be in a relationship. This could be in a living situation, a community, a neighborhood, on a job. This could be schooling. So something about maybe you want your kids in a different school. Okay, I'm seeing someone with maybe children that go to elementary. Yeah, level. Yeah, or middle school. Yeah, it's okay to desire more and want more. But when you make it to that new neighborhood or that new school, you're going to find something at that school that you don't like. Either it's going to be a staff member, a rule, a policy. Maybe you don't like what time the school day in. Maybe you don't like their dress code. It's going to be something everywhere. So be mindful of working on not complaining and being grateful, because you're magnetizing more things to complain about. You're pulling more things to you and towards you to be uncomfortable and unsatisfied with. And you don't want that in your life. You don't want to always feel like, you're down for the count. Nothing good is happening for you. When in reality, this is all a lie. Everything you ever desire, hope for, wish for is already here. Change your mind and you can change your life. Change your mind and you can change your life. Okay? And so we have the Empress here. We know the Emperor is someone's nurturing, who is very caring, very abundant as well. But this Empress energy here, this is someone who knows how to repair situations and keep things together even when the changes are appearing or existing. This is someone who knows how to be still when the storm is a brewing. The Empress is someone who's very resilient, very self-efficient, okay, and knows how to hold things together even when changes will arrive. So we understand already that we can only control ourselves. We can't control things that are out of our control. But there are times in your life where you will be forced to adapt. You will be forced to, especially if it's part of your contract, if it's part of the agreement of why you are here. So judgment is here. This is not a coincidence. This is your confirmation to take heed and to acknowledge, not in all situations, but many situations, you just simply can't run from. There are going to be some things you may have to endure. Okay. It's give and take. It's black, it's white, it's good, it's bad. It's about balance. And there's some things you're going to have to really endure sometimes, okay, or tolerate. Look at it as a honor, as a badge of reward. Okay, this is another loop in the belt. This is another badge of honor. I'm earning this badge of honor by going with the flow, by learning not to complain and telling myself I can do this and showing up and giving it my best. And then before you know it, all kinds of opportunity and favor begins to open up and arrive in your life out of nowhere. Even if you are someone, you may say, well, it's just me. I don't have no, you're never alone. You can receive favor and blessings from total strangers. From total strangers. You are never alone. Change your mind and you can change your life. Okay? So you can't run from the lessons that are for you to learn. And this is not negative. This is not, oh, something's going to happen to you. No. This is very light. So don't think too long because you're thinking wrong. Don't think too deep on this, okay? So they have me repeat that because there's someone who's going very deep, and no, it is not that deep. It's something very, very, very small. But only you know, the truth is when we're searching for answers and we have questions, 99.99% of the times, we have the answer within. We may not want to acknowledge it. I said we, so I'm including myself. We may not want to acknowledge it, but the answer is right there. The answer is right there. But the answer and the resolution, once again, is connected to a particular action that needs to take place. And that's when the opportunity will arrive. And that's when you will receive clarity. You do not want to live your life feeling like you are stuck, like you are in a dead end situation and there's no way out. Okay? So there's a need for you to rest, be in the energy of resting and being able to rejuvenate and celebrate. But Spirit is saying the abundance, the celebration, the prosperity is coming, but you have to stop running. Somebody's running from something. There's something you either don't want to deal with, someone you don't want to face. Now, I'm not speaking of any person, place, or thing that has disrespected you, caused you harm. You don't have to interact with them or go play spades or tunk with them on the weekend. This is not what we're speaking of. You don't have to fry fish with them on Friday. But Spirit is clearly saying, choose to forgive yourself, forgive them. That's between you and the divine. You do not have to have that person in your presence, whether they are alive or if they have transitioned. Choose to surrender any pain or hurt that was done to you. So yes, we have a full moon coming up. Get into it. Get into releasing. Get into it. Okay? Because your desire, once again, is to have the victory. And in order to get the victory, there are necessary procedures and processes that must take place. In order for you to be in the energy of waiting for your ships to sell in, to experience growth and be able to express yourself and live a life that you desire. Because I'm picking up that there's something that you want. You could be a parental figure for your children or maybe your grandchildren. There's something, you could have custody of your grandchildren. That's for someone. But there's something that you are desiring, whether this is resources, schooling, whatever it is. It could just be the ambiance, the environment. Maybe you want to live somewhere where there's beautiful aesthetics. Who doesn't desire that? There's nothing wrong with that. But there is a reason. Maybe you've been trying to relocate and it hasn't happened yet. There's a reason why you are still. It doesn't mean that your blessing and your favor isn't coming. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to relocate. Our spirit team and the divine can see in spaces and places that all human eyes have not been privy to tap into. and they can see things beyond what we can see. They know if someone is pocket watching you. They know if someone, the direction of the housing that you're applying for may not be a good place. You may be looking at the aesthetic and saying, "Oh, it's pretty," but there could be something going on there that is beyond your understanding or understanding, spiritually speaking. So you have to accept the projection and the redirection because it's turning into a blessing. What other way could the divine and your ancestors or your spirit guides assist you in answering your dreams, your goals, and your petition than to deny what's not for you? What better way could they help you? So, whenever something doesn't go your way or it gets not approved, you may not see it or know it, but trust that it's for your highest good. A lot of times we are being protected from a lot of things and we're not acknowledging it. We are being protected. So that's why certain things don't go through. Maybe you want to finance you a new car. You like, I got it. I got the money. I can pay it. It ain't nothing. I got it. Who broke? Not me. Who broke? Not me. You may be in that kind of energy. But see, your spirit team may be able to see way beyond what your human eyes can see here in the matrix and like, collective sign that, they're going to be locked in. Collective sign that, they're going to up so and so. Collective sign that, they're going to be stressed and overwhelmed. You know what? Let's deny that. Let's save them the stress and aggravation. They may be mad, but we got to protect them. You see what I'm saying? But us humans, we look at things in a different way. We respond in a different way. We receive, emotions and experiences, everything we endure very much differently here on planet Earth. So you need to know that, when things aren't going your way, there's either a lesson to be learned or you're being protected from something. And even when you can't figure it out, keep doing the work, or if you're someone saying, I'm not about to do no work, cool, that's your life, do you? But for those who are doing the work, yeah, it will come to you. You will find moving forward, you will look back and that's why. Oh, that's why that relationship didn't work out. Oh, that's why I'm glad I didn't work there, or I'm glad I didn't stay in that business deal. Or you'll be thankful. You'll be looking back and you'll be so thankful that it didn't work out. Ain't God good? Isn't that amazing? Rejection is redirection and for your protection. Like for real, for real. And sometimes also when things don't work out, there could be a lesson possibly for you to learn. So that means there's an action that needs to take place. You can ignore it, but it'll keep arriving. Basically, it'll stay on the list. It'll stay on the list of things for you to do. I'll explain it like that. You can make whatever changes, relocating, switch relationships, whatever. Do whatever you want to do. But that lesson will still be there. It'll resurface like spoiled milk. Like a baby, like baby vomit. And we all know that smell. Oh, they're so cute until they just spit up on your shoulder. Okay. So it'll remain there, dormant. You'll be 1-2 stepping, everything smooth, and then that'll pop up again. That same issue will pop up again. That same problem will pop up again. You thought you were done dating those kind of people, but that same person pop up again. A different face. But same energy. You're like, I thought I was done dating them kind of men or those kind of women. Or that same issue at that new job, whole new job. Look, with better pay, better benefits. They even offering you a promotion. They giving you everything you want. But here comes that one authority figure, somebody you don't get along with. Ooh, are we going to stay and make our money, or are we going to run? Are we going to pull this authority figure to the side one-on-one and have a grown-up talk? It's better to do it one-on-one. Because I'm telling you, you give people a crowd, they will perform. And they will treat you like you are the center stage. Okay? It will keep arriving until you address that issue. So you can run if you want. But ooh, it will resurface. And this applies to everybody. Nobody's exempt. Nobody's exempt, And like I said, everybody's doing the best that they can. But it's just the reality. It's just the truth. And so why not, take care of business and you can party later? Why not? Take care of business and you get your party on later. Mm-hmm. Uh, yes, collective. You have to be able to go in the flow, especially if you want to be successful or if you want to have any form of success, it doesn't matter if you don't want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you work a 9 to 5 and you want to be successful on your job. You want to receive promotions, you want to get raises. If it offer an opportunity for you to partner with your job, even if it's a franchise, you want to have opportunities to do these kind of things. You have to be able to work with different people, different personalities. You have to be able to adjust. You have to have coping skills. That is something that has to be worked on, okay? And that is something, that has to be worked on, but also it helps you in the long run. That's a skill in itself. Being able to deal and tolerate different personalities, even ones that you're not in agreement with, and not become hostile, or not step out of your character, yeah, not lose your decorum in the workplace. Be able to stay within your job description, be able to stay professional, be able to, do things by the book and follow policy without allowing someone to put you in rage or have someone having you upset. Somebody's going through something on their job. You're letting people intimidate you. You really take that person one by one with nobody around, and have a conversation and squash that. Squash that. One on one. That's the message. I usually say maybe you need to go to HR, but no, one on one. Conversation need to be had. Is everything okay? I'm here to work, you here to work. Let's cut the bull. Let's cut it out. Oh, ain't let me tell you, you get a different response from people when they don't have an audience. But if you present people around them, they feel like it's time to perform. Oh, they will put on for their city. They will put on all kind of dramatic acts to take place. But one on one, you'll get a different response. Oh, you cool. I'm crazy about you. I don't have no problem with you. Male or female, I ain't got no problem with you. Who told you that? Oh, never mind all that. We cool. We cool. You been and squashed that in 2 seconds. But you have to do it one on one. You could have been came and talked to me. Whoever this is giving you a problem, they've been turned into a big mushy gummy bear. Uh-huh. Ooh. So this concludes the read. I trust and hope it assists you for your highest good. Later.